tourism strengthens everything here in our economy: infrastructure, taxes, business, environment, jobs. And you're going to hear briefly from some folks that are going to tell you a little bit more about those areas that they specialize in. We've got our first speaker, Howie Franklin, and Howie's going to talk about how tourism affects the infrastructure.
Economic impact for this area and tourism, I mean, the problem is we have 60 miles of beach, 39 golf courses, the best weather on the coast. According to Virginia Tech, this is the best weather on the coast. They were going to bring in some naval aircraft to do some work for the Navy, and I asked the scientist on the phone from Virginia Tech, I said, how did you pick us out of all the airports up and down the coast? He said, well, you got the best weather on the coast from Maine to Key West. And I said, don't tell anybody. But they told me. Okay? Your airport here, we're the 4th busiest in the state of North Carolina for landings and takeoffs. Charlotte is number 1, Raleigh's number 2, Greensboro is number 3, and your airport's number 4. In economic impact, when I got here in 94 and 96, they did the first study. This is a study done by North Carolina State University. We were at $40,000 a year in 1996. Last year, we went to $557 million a year that the airport brings into the community. And $38 million goes right into the county budgets. So, but other than that, we're a public service first economic engine. The best example, just the other day, we had 8 forest fire airplanes in here, and they did 200 missions a day. We refuel them, we put the water on them, and they take off. We had to try to inform everybody that these aircraft are loaded heavy, so they take off and they don't go up real fast. They're low-flying airplanes. And according to some of the people in Boiling Spring Lakes, they stopped the aircraft, or the main focus was to stop the fire from getting to the houses. And they were able to do that. So we're in public service. The only other thing, if you look on the thing behind you, that one right there, that airplane's $100 million. And he owned it. He's not chartered. We have several of them come in here. We had 4 of them worth over $300 million. Ladies and gentlemen, those folks that don't own that airplane, they're not stupid. That means you guys are brilliant. So please come out and visit us again. And the area, whatever you think. My vision of this area is Santa Barbara, California, 1965.
Yay.
Yay.
And I say that because Santa Barbara is upscale to Los Angeles. You get it? Thank you very much.
Howie, we appreciate it. All right, next up is talk with us about taxes, John Sneed.
Right behind you. Hey folks, how you doing? I am John Sneed. I am the new Executive Director for the Brunswick County Tourism Development Authority, phase 6 as that title, so bear with me. I couldn't remember everything, so I had to write it down, so I am going to have to read. I apologize. Tourism supports local businesses, creates jobs, and lessens the annual burden for every Brunswick County resident by $525. It's every resident. So if you take the number of people in your house, multiply it by $525, that's how much your household saves in taxes every year because of the tourism industry. Room occupancy tax, often referred to as a hotel tax, is a small percentage added to the cost of staying in local accommodations. It's a tax paid for by overnight guests that benefits all of us here locally as well. So why is it good for us? It provides a funding stream for marketing to visitors who will directly and indirectly support local businesses and the more than 6,000 service industry employees in our area. These visitors contribute $1.17 billion to our economy annually. That funds a whole lot more than we do. Tourism dollars and the taxes they generate contribute $230 million in local income, $35.5 million in state taxes, $48.4 million in local taxes. This is real money that supports our residents, local businesses, and funds infrastructure directly and indirectly, all at the visitor's expense rather than pulling from the general funds. This funding also allows the Tourism Development Authority to support and collaborate with local tourism-related businesses. Through partnerships, educational programs, the TDA can help our hotels, restaurants, attractions, and every other business in the area to thrive. A strong and diverse tourism sector benefits everyone in our community. In summary, the room occupancy tax is like the goose that lays the golden egg. It's a strategic investment for the future of tourism in Brunswick County, paid for by people outside the county. That's magic. It provides a dedicated funding source that fuels effective marketing, enhances our attractions, supports local businesses, and ensures the sustainability of our vital tourism sector. Room occupancy tax is an investment in our future, ensuring that Brunswick County remains a vibrant and attractive destination for years to come, benefiting both visitor and locals alike. Thank you for your time.
Some great information there. So next speaking will be Cindy Capps. She's going to talk about how it affects our community locally. If anybody doesn't know Cindy, she's with Rusty Hooks. And Cindy, you're up.
If you know the history of Southport-Oak Island, you know that we were a small fishing village, that the smell of fish in the air equaled money. That was our primary thing that we made money off of. Menhaden. Think of it.
I'm going to interject something. They built the airport to supply the pilots so they could fly and find them in Hayden.
Yes.
That's why the airport was built.
That's why the airport was built. So if you lived in this area, you were either protecting that river from the pirates or during the war or whatever else, or you were living off of that river. That meant your businesses were bars and brothels. Just saying. That's where it went south last time I spoke.
Are you going to tell us about the business?
So, what does tourism do for a community? Most of the people in this room, if you were not directly impacted this past week, you know of how scary it was in Boiling Springs with the wildfires. If you drive down 87 right now and you see the wreckage of the forest fires, you also see George's beehives still alive, right? Incredible effort put forth to save those beehives. What those beehives look like in the midst of all of those charred trees, that's what tourism does for our community. That's what we look like. We're no longer that smelly, small fishing village. We thrive. Our quality of life is so much better today than it was then. The education, everything is better, and we can thank tourism for that. How many realtors do I have? And how many of you have a sign that says, turning tourists into locals, right? That's kind of what we're doing here, right? People come, they fall in love with us, because when they come here, they're here to build memories. That's, instead of selling fish now, we're selling memories. We're selling joy. What a great thing to be a manufacturer of, right? So, here we have this wonderful tourism industry. People come, they fall in love with our area, they buy a second home, they retire, they completely relocate. What do they bring with them? A tremendous amount of energy and love for this community. Energy and love that we're kind of tired and maybe we're not supporting like we once did because we're just in the everyday life of things. And they bring that energy and they bring that love and that appreciation and they build on it. They support our local artists. They support our local restaurants. They support our local everything. They fall in love with the turtle walk and all of a sudden they're buying their grandchildren a little stuffed turtle that now is helping make sure that we're preserving our wildlife and everything else, right? Okay, so what does tourism mean? It means we get to call it home. It means that we have this great quality of life. It means that because of the tax dollars and revenue that we bring in, we're able to do that without having to re-nourish the beaches on our own, without having to repave our own roads on our own. We get the help of the people coming. How much help do we get? The state of North Carolina is the 5th busiest visited state in the United States. Brunswick County, the 6th out of all 100 counties. When you're going from here to there, from here to the mountains, from here to there, wherever it is, those counties you drive through that are poor, is that where you want to live? You get to thank tourism. Instead of it being a negative thing, it's actually a great thing for our community. They give back to our churches. They join our churches and they give back in ways that we will never imagine. The tourists that come to my restaurant come in, I've got some pet things that I love. Special Olympics, I support Special Olympics. I raised over $18,000 for Special Olympics through my customers. Okay? That all went to Brunswick County Special Olympics. That's what tourism does for our community. I'm also a huge supporter for Parkinson's, and that was my latest one. And again, I'm still getting the numbers in from what they raised for that. That's what our visitors do for us. Okay? The other thing they do for us is, let's be fun for a minute. Who enjoys the witches ride in October? Like, seriously. It's a pretty fun thing, right? They make sure that our restaurants are still open in October so that we can have that witches ride. Okay? Number one time of year they come to visit us? Summer. Number two time of year they come to visit us? Fall. Embrace it. Welcome them. Encourage them to move here and bring their positive energies.
Really appreciate that. So tourism does count, folks. Remember that. All right, our next speaker, Mr. Jim Hoffman, who is with the Museum of Coastal Carolina at Ingram Planetarium. He's going to talk about environment.
Right here.
Yep.
Thank you for having me. So since our founding about 34 years ago, the Museum of Coastal Carolina has been focused on inspiring curiosity about the coastal environment for local visitors and tourists alike. We attract some 35,000 visitors to the museum each year. Another 25,000 we attract to Ingram Planetarium. About 6,500 of those are local school children. Oftentimes, tourists come in to get out of the rain or out of the sun, but then they find that we have so much more. They often say, gosh, I've been coming here for years, I've never been in this building, you have much more here than I thought. You have a lot of great things here for children, but I liked it too. So they find a lot more in our saltwater aquariums, our live touch tank, our dioramas, and our collections. They show them how life is in and around our waters. Other exhibits demonstrate to the young and old that how they live their lives matters. How they live their lives affects our oceans, regardless of whether they live here on the coast, whether they live in Charlotte or Raleigh or much further inland. How they live affects our oceans. In more recent years, we've begun using interactive video technology to show young visitors how they can help save the ocean. That's what we call one of the exhibits that puts visitors virtually on the floor of the ocean to stomp out trash. It's great fun, but they're also surrounded by inspirational messages that tell them to make a positive impact in the real world. Organize a community cleanup. Leave only your footprints when you visit the beach. Turn off the water when you brush your teeth. Yeah, that helps too. It gives them all these inspirational messages about how they can make a real difference in the world. Another way they can do that. We brought an exhibit to the museum a year ago in partnership with the National Children's Museum in Washington, D.C. It features familiar characters from Nickelodeon Our World. There's a giant flow chart out on the floor, and after asking a series of questions, the children are encouraged to be an Arbor Avenger with Dora the Explorer, or a Water Warrior with SpongeBob SquarePants. How fun is that? For adults, our long-running Sandbar lecture series features numerous experts around the region who are doing the hard work of not only teaching us about conservation and preservation, they're actually doing that hard work. Next week, next Tuesday evening, Keith Rittmaster from the new Bonehenge Whale Center in Beaufort will share his life's work with whales, dolphins, and porpoises, and some of the conservation issues that they face. Previous speakers have come from the Plastic Ocean Project, from the Karen Beasley Sea Turtle Hospital, from the Bald Head Island Conservancy, and many other organizations who are doing the very hard work of conservation and preservation. They work to protect sea turtles and other magnificent ocean creatures. A new video that we're producing in conjunction with the Ocean Isle Sea Turtle Protection Organization will appear soon in our Barrier Island Gallery. For loggerhead turtles, only 1 in 1,000 hatchlings actually survive to adulthood. So this video will discuss how we can make a real impact by doing things like turning off the lights on the beach, filling in holes that you dug on the beach, all for sea turtle survival. Our exhibit halls are literally overflowing. We're packed with lessons about the environment. A temporary exhibit from the North Carolina Botanical Garden in Chapel Hill teaches us about some of those bees, about the humble pollinator, the bee. Daily programs for families to participate together include Ocean Commotion that teaches visitors about the impacts of marine debris. Outside, we're redeveloping an exhibit on carnivorous plants to teach people who come here that Venus flytraps are only found naturally in about a 50-mile diameter around Wilmington. You might know that, but a lot of people don't. And finally, we'll soon be participating in a conservation project to protect the North Atlantic right whale. Did you know there's only about 350 right whales living in the wild today? We're working with a company in New England to place equipment, we've already placed equipment, to broadcast messages out into the ocean to encourage boaters to slow down to 10 knots in protected areas where those right whales navigate off our coast. It's a project that literally saves the whales. Anybody remember that? Save the whales. And so we'll create an exhibit that teaches our visitors about how we're doing that. STEM education has always been at the center of everything we do. But because of this beautiful place where we live, important components of our mission and vision of helping the environment, helping visitors understand the environment, will always be a critical part of what we do. Thank you.
And then next to talk with us about how tourism affects jobs, Marcell Hatten with NCWorks. Marcell.
Thanks to the chamber for inviting me out, and thanks to Karen to think about me. As you can see, I'm kind of a big guy. She had me in ice cream. You know what I'm saying? But what I do is I work for Department of Commerce, and we work with employers and job seekers, and understanding the nature of what happens here in Southport with the tourism in the area, understanding the webs and flows of jobs. And as you mentioned about October being an extended period of time, I can see that time being extended even further as we continue to grow here in Southport. One of the main things I do is, the biggest thing that we do being paid by your federal tax dollars. And what we do at NCWorks is provide support for the job seekers and just like your businesses. The only thing about us, between us and Indeed, we're still web-based, but we know the employer and we know that job seeker one-on-one. So we can do a little bit better match for you guys. And I know when Karen reached out to me about finding out information, I would have had to dig and go get some information from someone from a different source. So instead, I brought Rosemary with me from the Workforce Development Board, and she's going to give you all that good information. She looks a little better than I do. So.
Thank you. Thank you. I have the pleasure of working with Marcell as well. I'm Rosemary Guendner. I'm with the Cape Fear Workforce Development Board, and our region is Columbus, Guendner, Brunswick, and New Hanover. So we connect employers with job seekers. Don't need to tell you that tourism is the #1 industry in Brunswick County. With actually double the size that this region is around the nation is about 4,000 jobs in the service industry. Brunswick County has about 8,000 jobs available for people to work. Who's going to work in all of the tourism positions, all the tourism jobs that we have? Do we have the people to work there? That's our objective, to address that question. It's perfect timing that we are convening a hospitality and tourism sector partnership. It's my favorite part of my job. It's when we get industry leaders in the sector, so hospitality and tourism, restaurant, lodging, attractions, event planning, into one room. And we have the industry leaders at the center of the table to talk about the challenges that you're having in getting skilled workforce. Attaining the workforce, retaining the workforce, and being able to upskill them and train them. At that same meeting, I'm inviting you all to come. It's on May 14th at the Wilmington Convention Center. I have invitations here. At that same meeting, we convene community partners, because what's the point about talking about the challenges that you're having if you're not having the community partners to listen to address them? Brunswick Community College, Cape Fear Community College, Southeastern Community College, Chambers of Commerce are invited. We have economic development invited, local elected officials, the CTE directors of the high schools. The point is for everybody to be listening to what the industry leaders are saying, to what the challenges are, and then come up with an approach to address those. Is it a pipeline? Is it getting the kids in high school to go have their summer job and to go do your after-school job, and then have them also think forward, well, hey, you know, this could be a career path. I can go and get to Brunswick Community College and get a degree in culinary or hospitality. And then I can hop off that pathway, work a little bit more, hop back on, and maybe get something so I can become a hotel manager or whatever. Have the community, this is the meeting that everybody wants to have, that you say someone should do something about this. Please come, May 14th. I have my card here, I have the invitation letter. I also have labor market information that Marcell is handing out. With any wages for Brunswick County specifically, I also have information at my fingertips for the region, wages, industries, commuting patterns, who's coming in, who's coming out, reach out to me. As Marcell said, we're federally funded. These are services to employers at no cost. So reach out. Thank you for having me.
Well, folks, I hope that you learned a little bit about why tourism counts here in our area. Again, I want to thank all of our sponsors. Everybody. And then just last plug, anybody that wants to join the tourism committee, please reach out to us. We would love to have you. As you can tell, tourism counts here in Brunswick County. I appreciate y'all being here, and have a great day.
So.